A cartoon family from Springfield has been on television since 1989. In that time, they named a future president 16 years before it happened, showed a smartwatch 20 years before anyone owned one, and placed the words, "A division of Walt Disney Company," underneath the 20th Century Fox logo in 1998. A full 21 years before Disney paid $71 billion to make exactly that true. None of these were accidents. None of them were vague. They were specific, documented, on screen, and they all came true. The show has now produced over 800 episodes across 37 seasons. A sequel movie is locked in for September 2027. And the things the writers imagined are still arriving. What is happening right now in 2026 is the part that should make you stop and pay attention. The show and the people behind it. The Simpsons debuted on Fox on December 17, 1989, and has never left. It holds the record as the longest-running scripted primetime television series in American history. Matt Groening created it. The family at its center, Homer, Marge, Bart, Lisa, and baby Maggie, has not aged a single day in 37 years of broadcast. Springfield, the fictional town they live in, functions as a kind of parallel America, where writers take what is actually happening in the real world and push it to its logical, absurd, and sometimes chilling conclusion. The writer's room is not staffed by average people. Showrunner Al Jean graduated cum laude in mathematics from Harvard. Writer J. Stewart Burns graduated magna cum laude in mathematics from Harvard before getting his master's at UC Berkeley. David X. Cohen, who co-developed Futurama alongside Groening, graduated magna cum laude in physics from Harvard, and then earned a master's degree in computer science, also from UC Berkeley. Former writer Brent Forrester, who joined the staff in 1994, described the room plainly. When he arrived, the staff was almost entirely Harvard graduates who were serious students of history. He said people who are obsessed with the past tend to become obsessed with what is coming next. Writer Bill Odenkirk earned a PhD in inorganic chemistry from the University of Chicago. These are not people guessing. These are people who have spent their entire lives understanding how systems work and where they break. The show's executive producer, Matt Selman, has said publicly that the more the writers try to predict or not predict, the more it affects the output. Matt Groening himself has said the show writes jokes based on the most absurd possibility, and that after enough seasons, some of them are going to land. Al Jean put it even more bluntly in an interview. One of the writers said that if you write 700 episodes and you do not predict anything, you are pretty bad at your job. Two Harvard mathematicians, Frederick Mosteller and Percy Diaconis, laid out the math in 1989. With a large enough sample, any outrageous thing is apt to happen. The Simpsons has now produced over 800 episodes. The writers pitch roughly 1,000 jokes per episode to land about 50 in the final script. The volume makes some matches with reality statistically inevitable, but some of them are too specific to explain with volume alone. And the first one that broke that rule has a name, a budget crunch, and a date. The President. They saw coming on March 19th, 2000, an episode called Bart to the Future aired on Fox. In it, Bart is shown a vision of his future by a casino manager. In that future, Lisa Simpson is President of the United States. Her first line to her cabinet is this: "As you know, we have inherited quite a budget crunch from President Trump." Her staff confirms, "The country is broke." The episode was written by Dan Greeny. Trump had been publicly talking about running for president since at least 1988 and had made an actual third-party run with the Reform Party in 1999 and 2000. While the episode was in production, Al Jean told the New York Times that people have somewhat forgotten Trump was talking about running at that time. It was not totally out of the blue. He was a well-known name with clear presidential aspirations, so the writers used him as the punchline for where celebrity culture was heading. On November 8th, 2016, Trump was elected the 45th President of the United States. 4 days later, Bart wrote on the chalkboard in the show's opening credits, "Being right sucks." The show confirmed on social media that the gag was a direct response to Bart to the future. The writer called the episode a warning to America. The show reacted to that warning coming true with something close to regret. Then, in January 2021, when Kamala Harris was inaugurated as vice president, viewers immediately noticed that the purple coat and pearls she wore closely resembled the outfit Lisa Simpson wore as president in that same 2000 episode. Writer Al Jean acknowledged the comparison publicly, posting side-by-side images of Lisa and Harris. It was not a perfect match, but it was close enough that people who had watched the episode 21 years earlier saw it immediately. Trump ran again in 2024 and won a second term. The episode was set in 2030, with Lisa cleaning up after him. The timeline. The show sketched out in a throwaway joke in the year 2000 is still technically on track, and there are 4 years left before the date it named arrives. That president prediction is the most famous one. But the technology predictions are the ones that reveal something deeper about how these writers actually think. And one of them helped build the keyboard on your phone. The technology that became real. In 1995, The Simpsons aired an episode called Lisa's Wedding, set in the future year of 2010. In it, Lisa's fiancé uses a small device on his wrist to make a phone call. He speaks into it. It flips open like a phone, but sits on his arm like a watch. The Apple Watch launched in April 2015. By 2023, smartwatches had become a standard consumer product worn by hundreds of millions of people worldwide. The Simpsons showed a character casually using one 20 years before that product existed on any shelf. The same episode showed Lisa video calling her mother Marge on a handheld device with a screen. The call was casual and slightly awkward, with Marge not realizing she was on video at first. FaceTime launched on the iPhone 4 in 2010, the exact year the episode was set. The detail about video calling being common, unremarkable, and awkward for older family members turned out to be a precise description of how that technology actually landed in real life. Also in 1995, in an episode called Lisa on Ice, a school bully tries to type "beat up Martin" on a computer, and the autocorrect changes it to "eat up Martha." Apple's former director of engineering for iOS applications, Nitin Ganatra, revealed in 2013 that this specific Simpsons gag was used as a rallying cry inside Apple while building the iPhone keyboard. The engineers would say, "Eat up, Martha," to each other as shorthand for needing to get autocorrect right. A joke from a 1995 cartoon became internal motivation inside one of the biggest technology companies on Earth. Then, in 1998, the episode The Wizard of Evergreen Terrace showed Homer Simpson standing at a chalkboard, scribbling equations while trying to reinvent himself as an inventor. Author Simon Singh, who wrote a book called The Simpsons and Their Mathematical Secrets, analyzed that equation and found that when worked out, it predicts the mass of the Higgs boson particle. Real physicists did not observe and confirm the Higgs boson until 2012, 14 years later, at CERN's Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland. The mass Homer's equation produced was not exactly right, but it was remarkably close for a cartoon that aired when most people had never heard of the particle. Writer David X. Cohen, the one with the physics degree from Harvard, had quietly consulted a physicist friend to make the visual joke scientifically plausible. A cartoon doodle on a chalkboard came within range of one of the most significant scientific discoveries of the 21st century. Before we move on, if you're enjoying this analysis, please consider subscribing. It helps the channel tremendously. These were not one-off lucky guesses. They were part of a pattern. And one of the most unsettling entries in that pattern was placed inside a movie, not an episode. And it came true 6 years later when a man named Snowden got on a plane. The surveillance, the robots, and the merger. In 2007, the Simpsons movie was released in theaters. In one scene, the Simpson family is on the run, and Marge tells Lisa it is not like the government is listening to everyone's conversations. The film immediately cuts to a room full of NSA agents listening to everyone's conversations, including that exact one. The audience laughed. 6 years later, in June 2013, Edward Snowden leaked classified documents confirming that the NSA had been running mass surveillance programs on American citizens' phone and internet records. The movie came out in 2007. The Snowden leaks came in 2013. The joke was not a joke. In 2012, the show aired an episode called Them Robot, in which Mr. Burns fires every employee at the Springfield nuclear power plant and replaces them with robots, keeping only Homer as a human scapegoat. In 2025, companies began explicitly citing artificial intelligence when announcing mass layoffs. Amazon cut 14,000 corporate roles and stated that AI enables leaner structures. Microsoft cut approximately 15,000 jobs, and its CEO wrote a memo describing a shift from a software factory to an intelligence engine. Salesforce reduced its customer support workforce from 9,000 employees to 5,000 after implementing AI agents, with CEO Mark Benioff stating publicly that AI now handles up to half of the company's work. In February 2026, the payments company Block announced plans to cut 4,000 employees, roughly 40% of its global workforce, with its CFO explicitly tying the cuts to AI advancements. According to data from Challenger, Gray and Christmas, nearly 55,000 job cuts in 2025 alone were directly attributed to artificial intelligence, out of a total 1.17 million layoffs tracked that year, the highest level since the COVID pandemic in 2020. A 2012 cartoon episode showed one rich man firing an entire workforce and replacing it with machines. That is now a quarterly earnings story reported on financial news sites without anyone blinking. Then, there is the merger. In 1998, the episode When You Dish Upon a Star showed Homer pitching a movie idea to 20th Century Fox executives. In the background of the scene, the Fox studio sign reads, 20th Century Fox, a division of Walt Disney Company. In December 2017, Disney announced it was acquiring 21st Century Fox. The deal closed on March 20th, 2019, for a final price of approximately $71 billion. The acquisition included The Simpsons itself, along with X-Men, Deadpool, Fantastic Four, and dozens of other major properties, making the show literally part of the company it had predicted would one day own it, 21 years before it happened. The sign in the background of a single scene, written as a throwaway gag in 1998, turned out to be a corporate roadmap that two of the largest entertainment companies on Earth eventually followed. These three hits, surveillance, automation, and a corporate mega merger, all arrived after being sketched out on screen years in advance. But none of them pointed at 2027 specifically. What does is coming up next? What is already starting? And where 2027 fits? The Simpsons movie. 2 is confirmed for September 3rd, 2027. 20th Century Studios, owned by Disney, announced it in September 2025 with a teaser image of Homer holding a donut decorated with the number 2. The announcement itself contains a detail that fans immediately noticed. In 2007, right after the original Simpsons movie was released, the very first episode of season 19 opened with Bart writing on the chalkboard, "I will not wait 20 years to make another movie." The sequel is releasing almost exactly 20 years after the first film. The chalkboard gag that looked like a random joke turned out to be an accidental announcement of the sequel's timeline, made 2 decades in advance and confirmed by a studio release date. The show was also renewed in April 2025 for 4 additional seasons, confirming it will run through at least season 40 and well beyond 2027. That means when the movie arrives, the show will still be actively producing new episodes. The writers who have spent 37 years watching America and writing its absurd conclusions forward are still in the room. They are still working a year ahead of air date, still pitching 1,000 jokes to land 50, still staffed by people with advanced degrees from elite universities who spend their free time thinking about where everything is going. The same institutional knowledge that produced the Trump joke in 2000, the NSA room in 2007, and the robot workforce episode in 2012 is still producing content right now. What they have been pointing at in recent seasons is a cluster of things that are already visible in the world right now. AI is replacing jobs at a scale that matches what them, robot, depicted in 2012. Government surveillance of citizens has been confirmed and expanded since the Snowden leaks the movie anticipated. Corporate consolidation has continued past Disney buying Fox into a broader pattern of a shrinking number of companies owning more and more of what people watch, read, and use every day. The technology predictions from 1995 that looked like science fiction have all landed, including the specific one that helped an Apple engineer build the keyboard sitting in your pocket right now. The show does not need a crystal ball to do what it does. It needs smart people who read history, understand how systems fail, follow the logic of existing trends to their inevitable conclusions, and then write it all down a year before it airs in front of tens of millions of people. That process has been running without interruption since 1989. It produced over 800 episodes. It generated tens of thousands of jokes. A small but striking number of those jokes describe the future with an accuracy that professional forecasters, economists, and political analysts missed entirely. That process is still running now. The movie arrives in 2027. Whatever gets written between now and then is already in a room somewhere, on a whiteboard, being narrowed down from 1,000 ideas to 50. Verdict: a cartoon that debuted in 1989, named a future president in 2000, showed wrist-based communication technology in 1995 that arrived in 2015, wrote an NSA surveillance joke in 2007 that became confirmed fact in 2013, depicted mass AI-driven job replacement in 2012 that became corporate strategy by 2025, and put a Disney logo over the Fox name in 1998 that became a $71 billion reality in 2019. The writers are not psychic. They are a room full of some of the most educated satirists ever assembled for a television show, writing a year ahead of air, pitching thousands of jokes, and following the logic of the present into the future with more precision than most people who are paid specifically to forecast. The show was renewed through season 40. The sequel movie is confirmed for September 3rd, 2027. Bart wrote on the chalkboard in 2007 that he would not wait 20 years to make another movie. The sequel lands almost exactly 20 years later to the month. The people who built this show have been right about the president, the technology, the surveillance, the corporations, and the automation. They were right when it seemed impossible. They were right when the jokes seemed too absurd to ever become headlines. The pattern has held across 4 decades, 8 presidents, 2 corporate mergers, and 1 global pandemic. They are still writing. The 2027 movie is still in production. Whatever they put on screen next year, in front of a global audience that has watched this show get things right for 37 years straight, has earned the right to be taken seriously. The pattern has not broken yet. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.